Emma had been looking forward to her sister Olivia's engagement party for weeks, but when the evening finally arrived, she felt a strange tension in the air, one that had nothing to do with the event itself. As friends gathered and laughter echoed through the decorated house, Emma's eyes searched for one person: Noah. He had been her closest friend for years, the one person who understood her in ways no one else did. But tonight something was different. He wasn't smiling at her the way he usually did. He wasn't trying to make her laugh or asking if she needed help. Instead, every time their eyes met, he looked away as if he were hiding something. The distance between them felt heavy, like a storm building quietly in the background, waiting for the right moment to break. Emma tried to stay calm and appear unaffected. Guests complimented her on her dress and asked about her job, and she answered with polite smiles, but her heart was distracted. She had known Noah since college, and in all those years she had never seen him avoid her. Something had shifted in him and she could feel it. In the past few months there had been moments, subtle ones, that made her wonder if their friendship had turned into something more. The way his voice softened when he spoke to her, the way he lingered during conversations when others had walked away, the way she felt a strange flutter in her stomach when he brushed past her arm. She never dared to assume anything, but tonight, that hidden tension had become impossible to ignore. As the party continued, Emma watched Noah from across the room. He stood with a group of guests, laughing at a joke, but his eyes didn't shine the way they usually did. He was pretending, she could tell. And every time someone walked between them, blocking him from her view, she felt a sharp emptiness, as if she were losing something she hadn't yet claimed. She could no longer stand the uncertainty. If she didn't speak to him tonight, she knew this silence would grow into something painful. She excused herself from the crowd and quietly walked down the hallway toward the back of the house where the family library was, a quiet place she often went to clear her mind. The door was slightly open, and when she stepped inside, she stopped in shock. Noah was already there. He stood near the fireplace, his hands tucked in his pockets, his shoulders tense. He looked as if he had been waiting for her. The warm light from the fire flickered across his face, revealing a troubled expression she had never seen before. When their eyes met, neither of them spoke at first. The silence between them was not empty. It was filled with everything they had never said. Emma's heart pounded. She had come here to find him, but now that she was standing in front of him, she didn't know what to say. The air around them felt charged, as though the slightest movement would change everything. "You left the party," Noah finally said, his voice low and careful. "You followed," Emma replied, trying to sound calm even though her voice trembled slightly. He nodded but didn't move. It was as if he was holding himself back. For years they had shared easy conversations, friendly teasing, comfortable silences. But this silence was different. It was intense. It was heavy. Something was happening, and both of them knew there was no turning back. Emma looked at him closely and saw fear in his eyes. Not fear of her, but fear of what he was about to say. Noah finally took a step forward. His voice was soft, but there was a firmness beneath it. "Emma, I can't pretend anymore." Her breath caught in her throat. "Pretend what?" "That nothing has changed between us," he said. "You feel it too." "I know you do." Emma's heart raced. His words struck through every wall she had built to protect herself. She had spent so long convincing herself their connection was just friendship, telling herself she was imagining things. But in that moment, she couldn't hide from it. The way he looked at her tonight was not the way a friend looked at another friend. There was something deeper in his eyes, longing, vulnerability, and a kind of certainty that frightened her. She turned her face slightly, trying to steady her breathing. The reality of the moment was overwhelming. They were alone, away from everyone else, and she could feel her life shifting. "Noah, why now?" she asked carefully. "Because if I wait any longer," he said quietly, stepping even closer, "I might lose the chance forever." The words sent a tremor through her. She looked up at him fully now, seeing how his usual calm confidence had been replaced by raw honesty. For the first time, she realized he was not just admitting something, he was risking everything. If she rejected him, their friendship could change forever. If she said nothing, the silence would become an answer, She could feel the weight of his feelings pressing into the space between them, filling every inch with unspoken truths. But before she could respond, footsteps echoed in the hallway. Someone from the party was approaching. The spell was broken. Noah stepped back, but his eyes never left hers. They were still full of emotion, still silently asking a question she had no answer for yet. A voice called Emma's name, pulling her back into the world they had just stepped out of. In that short moment, everything had changed. They had not confessed everything openly, but the truth was out in the open now. There was no going back to how things were before. Emma walked out of the room and rejoined the party, but her mind stayed behind with Noah, replaying his words over and over. She felt as though her heart had been awakened from a long sleep. She didn't know what would happen next, but she knew this night had marked the beginning of something she could no longer ignore. From that moment on, nothing between them would be the same. The night had grown quieter, and yet Emma's heartbeat felt louder with every passing second. Inside the house, guests laughed and clinked glasses, but outside, where the lights softened and the air turned cool, Emma stood still, caught between the world she had always known and a new one that had just opened before her. She saw Noah walking back toward the house after their brief exchange. He didn't look back this time, not because he didn't care, but because he had already said too much, risked too much. If she wanted him, she would have to take a step too. For the first time in their friendship, he wasn't leading. He was waiting. Emma stood rooted to the ground, watching his silhouette fade into the warm glow of the party. Her emotions tangled within her. She had dreamed of moments like this, imagined what it would be like if Noah ever admitted feelings. But fantasies were safe. Reality was not. Reality had consequences. She finally drew in a deep breath and walked back toward the house. As she approached the door, she could see Noah inside, trying to act as if everything was normal, but his posture gave him away. Even from a distance, she could see the tension in his shoulders, the way he held his glass too carefully, as if grounding himself. When Emma stepped into the room, their eyes met instantly, the world around them blurred, but before either could move, Olivia, Emma's sister, rushed over, laughing and glowing with excitement. "Emma, there you are. Come take pictures with us." Emma forced a smile as Olivia pulled her into the crowd. The warmth of family surrounded her, but her heart wasn't there. While everyone posed for photos, she felt Noah's presence behind her. He stood at the edge of the room, watching quietly, not with impatience, but with emotion he could no longer hide. After the photos, Emma tried to escape again, but this time, someone grabbed her hand gently as she passed. It was Noah. He didn't speak. He only nodded toward the hallway. This time, Emma didn't resist. They walked in silence until they reached the far side of the house, where the noise faded into distant murmurs. There, by a large window overlooking the dark garden, Noah finally stopped. He turned to her slowly, his expression raw and vulnerable. "I meant every word," he said quietly. Emma swallowed hard. "I know." He searched her face, looking for an answer she hadn't yet formed. "You asked why now," he continued. "You asked why tonight. The truth is, I've been trying to hold back for months. I told myself I had time. But tonight, watching your sister celebrate the start of her life, I realized if I didn't tell you the truth, I might never get the chance. And I need you to know this, Emma. Not tomorrow. Not years from now. Now." Emma's eyes filled with tears, not from sadness, but from the weight of the truth pressing gently, insistently, on her heart. Noah took a step closer. The distance between them narrowed, and the moment felt powerful enough to change the entire direction of their lives. "I'm not asking you for an answer tonight," he said. "I'm just asking you not to run from this." Emma's voice shook. "I'm not running." "Then what are you doing?" he asked softly. She inhaled deeply. "Trying to feel the ground beneath me, because everything I thought I understood shifted when you said those words." Noah nodded, his gaze steady. "That's because we crossed a line, Emma. The line we both knew was there. And I don't want to go back." Her heart trembled. "What if I'm afraid?" "Then be afraid with me," he whispered. "Because I am too." Silence wrapped around them, not heavy this time, but gentle, like the beginning of something real. Emma took a breath. Noah, what happens if this goes wrong? He looked deeply into her eyes. Then we face it together. But what if it goes right? What if everything we've been scared of is actually everything we've been waiting for? Her eyes glistened. His words weren't dramatic, they were honest. And that made them even more powerful. Before she could respond, voices echoed down the hallway. Footsteps were coming closer. Noah stepped back quickly, not in retreat, but in protection of the moment. It wasn't time for the world to see this. Emma wiped her eyes again, and Noah locked eyes with her one more time. It's your move now, he said quietly, with a soft ache in his voice. And whatever you choose, I'll respect it. Then he turned, walking back into the lights of the party, leaving her standing in the quiet corridor with her heart pounding louder than ever. Emma placed a hand over her chest and closed her eyes. For the first time in her life, she wasn't afraid of losing control. She was afraid of losing him. And in that realization, something inside her began to change, quietly, steadily, but completely.